Hello guys. So now what we are going to look into is the implementation of Knight's-Tool problem. Okay. So we have seen a few concepts of Knight's-Tool problem. What is actually Knight's-Tool problem and how we are going to carry out the implementation. So the basic concept we have completed. So now in this lecture we will start with the implementation of Knight's-Tool problem. Okay, so before getting into the implementation of implementation of Knight's-Tool problem, let me want to know, just show you the state space tree, actually the solution tree. Okay, how the solution tree is going to look like. Okay, fine. So for example, let me just take a main node. So how many starting nodes that we are going to have? N cross n starting nodes, because if totally 16 cells are available, then you can just start from any of the 16 cells. So you will have n cross n starting node. So we will just simply, for example, I will just simply take only, okay, I will just simply take only one or two nodes, two possibilities of nodes, and let me explain how this state space tree is going to look like. But you have to have n cross n nodes. If you are taking a 4 cross 4 chessboard, then 16 nodes, starting nodes you have to take, because 16 starting points are there. If you are taking a 8 cross 8 chessboard, then you have to have 64 starting points. Okay, so what is the first starting point? You can place your first that is your first knight in the 0 comma 0 position, 0 comma 0 cell of your chessboard. Okay, 0 comma 0 of your chessboard. Suppose now if you are placing it in 0 comma 0, how many position you will be able to move from 0 comma 0? There are 8 possible move that we saw in the previous video. Okay, there are 8, there are 8 possible moves. So each and every node will be having 8 other nodes it will be having. Okay, if you're starting from 0 comma 0, from here what are the 8 moves that are available? One, I'll just tell you, 1 2, and you will have to include 8 nodes. Okay, 1 minute, I can just probably move it. So 3 uh, 4 5 6. Okay, okay, so now how many cells that we have now? 8 subnodes we have. So for every cell there is going to be 8 possibilities. So if 0 comma 0 is the position that we are starting, what are the 8 possibilities? 2 row upward and 1 column leftward, 2 row upward, 1 column rightward, or otherwise 2 columns leftward, 1 row upward, 2 columns rightward, 1 row upward, or otherwise 2 column leftward and 1 row downward, and 2 columns rightward and 1 row downward, or otherwise 2 rows downward and 1 row leftward, then 2 rows downward, 1 column rightward. So all these are the possibilities. So from 0 comma 0 you can either go to 2 rows upward and 1 column leftward, right? So what it is? Minus 2 comma minus 1. So minus 2 comma minus 1 is the first possibility of move. Next move, similarly you will have 8 such moves, and then what we will do, each and every move we will give it to bounding function. Bounding function will decide whether it is a valid cell or not. If it is a valid cell, then we will go for the further possibilities we are going to have. So first of all, 16 starting points you are going to have, and every starting, for a 4 cross 4 matrix I'm saying, so 16 starting points, and each and every 16 node is going to have 8 nodes each. So 16 into 8 nodes that will be there, and each and every cell, this 8 cells will have further 8. then those cells will have further 8. Each and every cell will have further 8. Okay, so this is how the structure of the state space tree is going to be, right? So now let me come here to the implementation side. Okay, so coming to the implementation side, first of all what we are going to do is we are going to, in the main function, we are going to take two arrays like x, and also we are going to take array called as y. So there are two important arrays that we are going to take. What is this array is for? This array is for storing all the 8 possibilities. What is the first possibility? 2 row upward and 1 column leftward. Okay, so 2 row upward is -2 and 1 column leftward is -1. Similarly, next one, 2 row upward, 1 column rightward, which is going to be -2 comma plus -2 and +1. So two possibilities. One is 2 row upward, 1 column leftward. The other possibility is 2 row upward, 1 column rightward. Next one. Okay, the next one is two columns leftward and 1 row upward. For 1 row upward, you will be landing up with -1, and for 2 columns leftward, it will end up with -2. Okay, the next possibility, 2 column rightward and 1 row upward. So for 1 row upward it will be -1, and for 2 columns rightward it is going to be +2. Next one, two columns leftward, 1 row downward. For 1 row downward it is +1, and for 2 rows left side it is -2. Okay, the next one, 2 column right side and 1 row downside. So for 1 row downside it is going to be +1, and for 2 columns rightward it is going to be +2. Okay, next possibility, 2 rows downward and 1 column leftward. So for 2 rows downward it is +2, and for 1 row leftward, 1 column leftward it is -1. Okay, then the 2 rows downward it is again 2 rows downward it is +2, and 1 column rightward it is +1. So come on. So these are the 8 possibilities we have. That is static 8 possibilities we have. So we are storing that 8 possibilities in 2 arrays. One array is for pointing towards a row, and the second array is for pointing towards a column, right? After taking these 2 arrays, now it is time for us to, first of all, we are going to take a we are going to declare a element called as n. N is going to decide the size of the chessboard. So from the user we can just, I think for example now we can just give it in the compile time, like we can just give 8 for example. I think we can just start with 4. Okay, we can just start it out with 4, right? Next one, we have to declare a board refers to the chessboard, which is going to be of dimension n cross n. So n cross n is the dimension available. Okay, fine. Now before starting to do any process, first of all the entire matrix have to be filled with actually -1. Okay, so for that purpose we are going to write a function called as revert function. Every time this function is used to revert back to -1. Sometimes we again have to erase all the movement and again we have to start it from first. That time this revert function will be useful for initializing all the board cells with -1. So what do we require? First of all, we require that matrix called as board. So int board. Okay, we require that matrix called, okay, fine. So right, I think if you want to send a 2-dimensional matrix, then you have to be sending it like a pointer. So I want to just not make it very complex. So what I'm going to do is that okay, fine, right. So better what we will do is, instead of writing a revert function, 1 minute guys, yeah, I think better it will be better if you write a revert function actually. Okay, let me write a void revert function, and in this revert function, okay, fine. So what we can just simply do is that, instead of declaring these things inside your main function, you can have it like a define, you can just have it here. Okay, so integer n, instead of having integer n, I can, let me just using define I can just define the value of n as like for example 4, and then I can declare an integer matrix with size n cross n. Okay, so now void revert does not require any element to be given, because already n is defined one, globally defined one, and also the matrix is also global matrix. So hereafter there is no need of passing these two things inside for any function. So because it is a global variable, it is accessible anywhere. So what you have to do here globally is that I have to for, okay, for int I is equal to 0, I is less than n, I plus plus. Okay, then again for int I is j is equal to 0, j less than n, j plus plus. So inside this loop what we are going to do is we are going to write board of ij is equal to -1, which means it is going to initialize all the cells by -1. -1 determines that the particular cell is a unvisited cell, it has not still been visited by the knight so far. Okay, it has not been visited so far. Okay, fine, right? So now what we are going to do is, here we will be calling the function called as revert. No argument is required, because both n and n and the matrix is already known. Okay, now what we have done so far is we have taken all the 8 possibilities in 2 arrays called as x and y, and also we have initialized the entire matrix, the chessboard, with the value called as -1, right? So the next thing that what we have to do is, actually we have to define the starting point first of all. How many starting point will be available? Totally n cross n starting point will be available. Either your hearts can start from 0 comma 0, it can either start from 0 comma 1 or 0 comma 2, 0 comma 3, or otherwise 1 comma 0, 1 comma 1, 1 comma 2, 1 comma 3, or otherwise 2 comma 0, 2 comma 1, 2 comma 2, 2 comma 3, or otherwise 3 comma 0, 3 comma 1, 3 comma 2, 3 comma 3. All the 16 things are possible if it is a 4 cross 4 matrix. So I'm going to write a loop to define that. Okay, now we are going to have n cross n starting points. So we are going to run a nested loop to do that. So I less than n, I plus plus, and also here inside this for int j is equal to 0, j less than n, j plus plus. So there is totally n cross n possible starting point. So you know very well that how this nested for loop is going to run: 0 comma 0, 0 comma 1, 0 comma 2, 0 comma 3, then 1 comma 0, 1 comma 1, 1 comma 2. So the starting points are like I comma j is going to be the starting point every time. Okay, so first of all what we will do is, I will just assign that board of ij is going to be placed with 0. What 0 means? The zeroth move of the knight is going to be placed in this particular cell. The 0th move of the knight is going to be placed on the particular cell. Initially it starts with 0 comma 0. Next time it will start from 0 comma 1, then 0 comma 2, 0 comma 3, and goes on. After initializing this board of ij to 0, the next job is to start finding out the next subsequent positions and go for the possibilities. For this we will have a function called as solve. Okay, fine. So what we are going to first of all do is, we'll just stop it here. Let me come to that function. Okay, that function is going to return either 1 or 0. So that function, if it returns 1, then it means that there exists a possibility, there exists a solution when you start with 0 comma 0 cell or 0 comma 1 cell. If there is a possible solution, then it will return you 1. Suppose if there is no possible solution at all, then it will be returning you with 0. Okay, that will return you, that function, solve function, will return you with 0. So it is either going to return 0 or either going to return 1 integer value, right? So we will write a integer return type, and after integer return type we are going to write a function called as solve. And now it is time to decide what are all the parameters, what are all the parameters that is going to be required by this solve function. Okay, so already your board and n value is already known everywhere because it is globally declared. So what else you require actually? I need to know that which is what is the current move actually, that is the current position, and how many moves have been done so far, because I want to also find that whether all the moves are completely finished. How many moves? 16 moves for a 4 cross 4 matrix, that is 4 cross 4 chessboard. If it is 8 cross 8 chessboard, then 64 is the final move. So to find the ending point also I require the number of moves. So first of all, the solve function requires a current place where we are standing. So int current I position, that is the row index, and also I will be requiring the current column index, that is current underscore j. Okay, curr underscore j. Okay, fine. The next thing is like it is going to be the move. Okay, the move, already you have done the 0th move here, you have done the 0th move in the main function here. 0th move is done, so you will be starting with the 1th move. Okay, so that value have to be starting with 1. So but we require a parameter called as move, the percent number of moves so far done. The next things are going to be the two arrays called as x and y. These things you can also declare it in the global also. Okay, so globally also you can be declaring these two things. Okay, I think better I think these two things are very static, right? So I think better we can just go with static declaration, that is sorry, global declaration. Okay, fine. So now what we can do, we no need to know pass that x and y also. Okay, now I told you very clearly that this solve function will either return you 1 or otherwise it will return you with 0. Okay, so this function is either going to return 1 or it is going to return 0. So here in this main function, what we will do is, after initializing 0 to this particular I comma j cell. Okay, so what we will do is we will just check if that particular function solve. So solve of what are the parameters we are sending? Current I value. Okay, that is a current position. What is the current I value? I, here the loop I variable is a current I position, and loop variable j is a current j position, comma what is the present move? Already one move, 0th move is already completed, so you have to start with 1th move. So if this function is returning as 1, then there is a separate process we have to do. If it is returning 0, then we have to do a different process. If it is true, then we have to display the answer. Okay, so you have to we are going to just call a simple function for display, and this will be displaying the present values available in the board. Okay, because board is a global variable, so that is why I have not sent it as a parameter. Coming to else condition, if this solve function is not returning you 1, then definitely you can just print directly that there is no solution available. Okay, so no solution available. Okay, no solution available for starting index. Okay, starting index percentage d comma percentage d. Okay, what is for which starting cell? I comma j cell. You can just print that no solution is available for the index I comma j. Right, so after doing this we have to just print a new line character. Right, fine. So this is a main function. We have completed the entire main function. Now we have to enter into this function called as solve function, and now we have to decide what are all the things that we are going to do here in this solve function. Right, so what we have done so far is we can just simply take the original here the matrix actually. So far what we have done is, so far we have placed your k1 here in the row 1 column 1, that is in 0,0 cell. We have placed your we have moved your knight, that is your 0th move has happened here in 0,0. Now what you have to do is the rest of the thing. So far we have done only, we have initialized all the values to all the cell values to -1, and we also took two arrays called as x and y, where we have both all the 8 possible move for every cell, and also we have placed first position of the knight also, right? So this is what we have just done so far, so we will just continue from that. So now coming to the solve function, first of all, if your move and your n cross n value is same, that it means that already you have placed all your knight. Okay, for example, you are starting with the value called as 0, and there are totally 16 cells available in the matrix or in the chessboard. Now you started with 0th move, then you will go for 1th move, then you will go for 2nd move, 3rd move, 4th move, 5th move, 6th move, and so on up to 15th move. Okay, so up to 15 it is okay. Suppose if you are entering into 16, what it means? Already 0 to 15 moves are over. There is still no more cells to visit because already all the cells are visited. So you have to check whether the current move is equal to n cross n, because 0 to 15 only you have to do the process. If you are reaching 16, you can stop. What is 16? 16 means n cross n cells. So the very first condition that I will do is, okay, the very first condition that I'm going to do is that if the present move is equal to n cross n, okay, if the present move is equal to n cross n, then we can what we can do is that we can return 1, because already all the 16 moves, that is the n cross n moves, are already over, which means that you have visited all the cells, that too exactly once. So if all the cells are exactly visited once, then it means that you have got the answer. So you have to return 1 to the main function, using which it can display the answer. Okay, fine. Now we'll enter into the else function. We will just enter into the else function. Okay, so coming here to the else function. Now tell me, now you have placed your knight in the 0,0 cell. Now what we said is that from every cell there are 8 possible moves for a knight to be moved. All those 8 moves have been initialized in the array called as x and y. Okay, so now what we have to do is that, okay, now what we are going to do is we have to look for all the possibilities. You have to move to each and every possible cell, and you have to check how many possible cells possible movements you have. 8 movements, even if it is a 4x4 chessboard, or if it is a 8x8 chessboard, whatever the the dimension of the chessboard is, but you will have to every cell will be having 8 other possibilities to move your piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write a loop, for loop, which is having I as a variable. So 0 to I less than 8, I less than 8. Okay, I less than 8. So why is this 8 is for? Because you will have exactly 8 moves, that is 8 possible ways you have. From every cell you can move 8 ways. So I have to check all the 8 ways. For checking that 8 ways, we are writing this loop. So int I is equal to 0, I less than 8, and then comes I plus plus. Okay, fine. So inside this loop, what we will do is that the current I position and current J position. Now we have to find the next I position and J position. Okay, the next possible cell that we can move, and also we have to check whether that particular cell is a valid cell or not using a bounding function. Before coming into bounding function, first of all we will find the next I and J position. Okay, so the next I and J, int next underscore I is the next I, that variable, and then one more variable is int next underscore J. Okay, what is the next I value? Current I value plus you have a array called as x. In that x, the 0th index, that is the ith index value, you will have either -2 something. You have to add those numbers, right? So current ith value plus x of I. If your current I value is 0, and the first possibility we have already stored it as -2 comma -1, so you will add -2 to that current I value. So -2 plus 0, -2. Similarly, next j is equal to the current j value, okay, plus y of I, okay, right? So using this condition, what we using this initialization, we will find what is the next ij value. Using the current ij value, we will find the next ij value. Now what you have to do is you have to check whether this next underscore I comma next underscore j is a valid cell for a knight to be moved. And this is where comes this is where we introduce this function called as bounding function. What is this bounding function is for checking all the constraint, whether for the question whether all the constraints are it meets all the constraint. Okay, fine. So now we are going to write one more function called as bounding function, and this bounding function also will be returning either 1 or 0. Okay, so this bounding function, if the cell is safe, then that function will be returning you 1. If that cell is not the appropriate cell for a knight to be moved, then it will return you with 0. Okay, so integer is a returning type, and the function is safe. Okay, and the function is safe. Okay, so what is the argument of this safe function? Okay, what is going to be the argument? So you have to have the ith index and jth index, for which you have to check whether it is a whether it is a valid cell for a knight to be moved. Okay, and also I need the help of board also, but board is a global variable, so I need not to pass it. So what is the two things that I need to pass? I need to pass the ith index value and the jth index value that we want to check actually. Okay, so we just name it as next underscore I comma next underscore j, right? So inside this esafe function, what I'm going to just check is that first thing that I'm going to check is both your I and j value have to be inside the chessboard. How to check that? If your next underscore I is greater than or equal to 0, and at the same time your next underscore I should be less than or equal to less than your n. Okay, similarly your j also have to be following the same condition. So next underscore j should be greater than or equal to 0, and at the same time next underscore j should be less than n. Okay, and similarly, if along with this condition, one more condition have to be checked. First of all, you are checking these 4 conditions so far. Whatever we have mentioned clearly says that the cell is inside the matrix. The cell that we are checking is inside the chessboard. That is not the only thing that we need to check. More than that, along with that, we also need to check whether the particular cell is already a visited cell or not visited. So how to check whether it is a visited cell? If that particular cell is having the value -1, it is not visited. So what you have to do is you have to do board of next underscore I and next underscore j. And if this cell is having the value -1, definitely it is not a visited one. So if all these 5 conditions are true, then we call that particular cell as a valid cell for a knight to be moved. So what we will be returning here, if this condition is true, I will return 1. If this condition is true, okay, if this condition is true, we will be returning 1. Else what we are going to return? Else we will be returning 0, which means that this is not the safe cell for a knight to be placed. That is what we are going to mean it. Okay, fine. So now coming here to the solve function again. Now what we will do, after finding this next underscore I, next underscore j, I will just call the function called as esafe function to check for the validity. Okay, that is the whether it is a valid move or not. Okay, so each safe function we are calling, and we are passing the arguments called as next, that is next I comma next j. And if this function is returning you with 1, okay, if this function, okay, if this function is returning you with 1, then there is a separate process. Suppose, okay, suppose if this condition is not okay, we will just come to the else part later, but if this condition is true, what you will do, you go to the board, and this particular the particular, you know, the cell, that is the next I, because already the that current I and current j is already filled with 0. Now what we will do, we will just go to this next I. If it is a safe position, we will go to that next I and next j, and we will be placing the variable, the value of the variable move. What is the value of the variable move? It is 1, starting with 1. Okay, every time when you call this solve function, it is 1. Okay, so now because already you have placed 0 in a particular cell, now you are placing that 1 value in particular cell. But after placing this 1, you have to move it to 2. You have to move the value, you have to increment the value of the variable move to 2. So that comes next. So now what we will do is, after doing this process, what we have to do, again we have to call the same function, again we have to call the same, do the same process for a different cell. What is the current I and j now? The current I and j now is next I and next j. The current I now, after doing all this process. So I will call the same function again, and I will be passing your next underscore I and next underscore j as your argument. Along with your move also should be incremented by 1. So I'm calling the same function with a different current I value and j value, and also I'm incrementing your move by 1. Suppose if this function, okay, suppose if this function is equal to 1, that is if this function is receiving 1, then we will be returning 1 again. So we will just return 1 back. Okay, suppose else, that is if this condition is not true, then you will automatically, you will revert back. That is the you have a returning phase of the recursion, and in that returning phase, what you have to do is, you have to again you know, you have to change the particular cell as visited, because already some cell you have marked it as visited. Now that cell, what you find is that no solution is available for that cell, so there is no point of, you know, marking it as a visited. Now just take it as a mark it as an unvisited node. How will you mark it as an unvisited node? Board of, okay, what is the present you know, that cell next I, okay, command next j, and this particular cell is equal to -1. That is how I mark it as unvisited again. Okay, if already a visited place does not have a solution, then automatically we will again place that with unvisited symbol. How did I find that it is not having any solution? Because the solve function, I have returned as 0. So if solve function is returning 0, then there is no solution available. That is what it determines. Okay, fine. So after doing all these things, okay, so if this condition is true, then you return 1, and then if you come here, then if it is safe, you return 1. Everything is going okay. So if, okay, if both this if and else, if any of this recursive function have keep on going. Suppose if this recursion condition is stopped, then if this condition is also not true, then we will just return with 0. We will just return it with 0. Okay, so I think the complete you know, solve function is also over. Safe, that is the bounding function, is also over. We have written the revert function also. I think the only balance concept that we have is the display function. So we will just simply write a void display function. Okay, so this return display function, what we are going to do is, for int I is equal to 0, I less than n I plus plus. Okay, so then comes a nested loop called as for int j equal to 0, j less than n, and then j plus plus. Okay, so we will also, what we will do is we will just print, okay, we will just print the matrix value. Okay, percentage d, there is a space also, then comma, board of ij. Okay, board of ij, and also after printing every row we are going to print it with the new line character. Okay, so printf a new line character, and also after printing the entire matrix also I want a new line character. So after both this nested loop I have to be printing a new line character on the whole. Okay, so let me save this document, and probably I'll just remove this breakdown, so we can just go for execution. Okay, there is a spelling mistake here, so there is a error, debug error we have got. So this is at the line 39. If you see, we have just given a wrong. Okay, see, there is a there is a spelling mistake for the variable. So let me just change it, and let me again just go back with okay, let me just check. Okay, current j, right, again just let me go with the execution. Okay, so I think we have no errors actually, so we can just probably go for the 1 minute days. So we can just probably go with the with the execution actually. So it is in the desktop, so let me just go for compilation. Hello, and the problem is night 2 problem, so I'll just go for execution. Okay, fine. So only no solution part is getting printed. Okay, so we'll just check where we have just missed out the things. Okay, guys. So I think there is no solution that we are obtaining for a 4x4 chessboard. So we can just probably change it to 8, and then we can just execute and check. And also one more thing, if we change it to 8, there are a lot of possibilities that you will land up with. So I think yeah, I think it will take a long time for execution. So probably what I will do is I will just change the loop for only one possibility. Okay, so I'll just change it to I less than 1, and j less than I think 2. I think j less than 2 I will check for. I think for 2 possibility we will just go for. Okay, the very first 2 possibility we will just check for. Okay, so if it is working, then it is fine. So compilation successful, we can go for execution. So execution is started. One minute. I think there is something that we have done. Okay, sorry. This is actually the display function that we have changed. Am I right? Yes. So we should not be changing the display function. We should have changed the in the main function. You have a loop, right? So this thing we just changed to find first 2 possibilities alone. Okay. So now I can just go for the compilation process again. So now we will go for execution. So you are able to know see the first 2 possibilities actually. Okay, So you start your 0 from here, 0 comma 0 cell, then you 1, then 2 here, 3 here, then again 4 here, then your 5 at this position, then 6 here. So you're able to see that it is all the cells are covered exactly once, and it is also following the property that it should move in the L shape, that either in the 8 possibilities that you have. Okay, so you can just cross verify these two answers, that both the answers are actually perfect. Okay, both the answers are correct answer. I mean, both the answers solutions are correct solutions actually. Okay, fine case. So what we have just seen so far is that we have just seen in the previous video about the night tours problem statement actually. So the problem statement, we have just seen it very clearly. And what is the problem statement? The problem statement is that you have to take a knight, and the knight have to start moving over around the chessboard, and it should visit all the cells of the chessboard exactly once, but it should have covered the entire chessboard cells. So for that we have just used backtracking as a strategy, and we have just solved this problem. Okay, so the implementation is also over, right guys? So thank you guys. So the next video is going to be probably on the analysis of this particular problem. Okay, so we'll come up with the time complexity and space complexity of this problem. Okay guys, thank you guys.